Welcome back, fans and friends. And as promised, this is the follow-up to that video. It is the Red Bull number 16. So as we can see here, unlike the Mercedes, where Valtteri was the sole driver in the picture in the background, I'm not sure if this is just the number 11's car. So that will be this guy's here, Sergio Perez's car. And they've just shown both people because for the Mercedes, they only showed one guy. Sorry, I apologize, that is the wrong one. It is this. Valtteri is the only one there in the background. I know Lewis Hamilton is on the side of the box. We already covered that. He's right here. But he is otherwise not, and the number for here, 77, is on the car there, and Lewis Hamilton's number is number 44. So this one, we can see there it's Honda engined instead of Mercedes, obviously AMG. Same tires, Pirelli, so I guess that was a standardization thing where everybody is now going to use the same tires to cut costs, improve reliability, and then see if some cars are doing funny business and not funny business, either winning or losing against other teams and some other things too. Anyways, this is the Red Bull 16B car. This is obviously, you can see it's highly decorated. I would think just as much or if not more so than the Mercedes team over there. And as covered earlier, Max Verstappen, number 33. I do like this better than the Mercedes one. Except for the Mercedes sticker, which was extremely fancy, I think the coloration for this one is much better. Do you need to see it again? I'll show you again. Anyway, less importantly, now this is a matter of opinion. Do you enjoy having both of the drivers with the car in the background? But unfortunately, because of the way they're standing, where's the number? The number would be just after the fin, and he's standing in front of it, so you don't know whose car it is. They probably drive identical cars. That's fair. And I do like it better, though, that both drivers are represented instead of no driver represented in this case. But if you're interested in purely in the cars and not the drivers, then it makes no difference to you. And to the bottom, underneath, again, I am holding it upside down. We have the recycling elements in French. The 143 scaling, telling us that it might not be as advertised if you take out a laser measuring tape. 36 months, don't give it to children. There's the Burago, and it's the Red Bull and Red Bull Racing logo. I find it interesting, no Honda, but I haven't done very many Hondas in general. A few, in terms of Mattel and Greenlight and everybody else. But it's very rare, actually, that Honda shows up on the thing anywhere. So just interesting, because Nissan's everywhere. Toyota shows up, and then obviously the American manufacturers. But Honda, we can clearly see Honda right there, right? And on the fin, don't want to be recognized anywhere else. So that's up to them. No stickers. Interestingly, these Buragos, they don't have any sealing whatsoever. So I'm into figures as well, Star Wars mostly, but occasionally Marvel Legends end up. If I can find them used, I'll find them used. But they're, and Funkos, so I have about 100 now. But Funkos will come taped shut, so you know that they haven't been opened yet. These things, there is absolutely no tape. So technically, I'm not advertising for it, but it doesn't bode well if people are not monitoring the shelves very well. Things will disappear. So I'm just saying that I paid the full price for these. They're not terribly expensive. Up here in Canada, $10, and that's from a Toys R Us, not a Walmart. Walmart, I do not believe carries Burago at all. I found once Buragos at a Winners, but not often, just occasionally. I didn't buy it though. It was a Ferrari 5-pack, and I thought they were poorly built. And like I said, I avoided the Ferrari F1 car. If I see it again, I might get it. But I avoided the Ferrari F1 car because it didn't give any reference to the drivers. There was no decoration whatsoever in terms of, like I said, the drivers or the cars. And otherwise, I mean, these ones looked way better. So, coming from the top, we can see they have standardizations for the body, the fins and everything else. The midsection looks almost identical to the one over there. I will put them side by side a little bit later. Tag Heuer is one of the main sponsors, I believe. That's how they do it. We have, and there's the Honda symbol again, Honda as well, number 11. And so this is, I believe it's Sergio Perez's car. I brought this up already. And we do have very fine printing. So Siemens, heavy equipment manufacturer out of Germany. And it is, I can't read what it says there, but it is legible. I don't want to say I'm getting old. And then you have more sponsors there, Oracle as well, Mobile One, and Cash App, Honda again, Telecel, Oracle. So this car has, I believe, because Mercedes probably covers most of the cost there, that one doesn't have as many sponsors. But this car is like a sponsor's dream car. It is literally covered with all these different companies, which is normal. I mean, these things are expensive to run. I cannot imagine nowadays, like I said, a Sauber bowed out so long ago, purely based on cost. You have, like I said, Honda is not on the packaging, but it is almost absolutely everywhere else. So look at that, Honda, the H. So it's a nice looking car, like I said. You'll not be disappointed with the graphics and the design and layout of this car. So 0P, P0, I apologize. So it's not 0P tires, it's P0. They're the exact same as on that car over there. Everything else, and there's Esso. So Mobile One and Esso, they have two oil company. And then Honda, instead of Mercedes telling us it's the E version, so the electric assist, just has hybrid up there. And they are hybrid cars. You get better mileage. They are faster acceleration, and you don't have to use the E all the time. You can use regenerative braking, a bunch of things. Make the car a little bit heavier, but you make it more efficient. I remember when they switched over to methane, just so that you could put them out. The fire is easier with water, because if you use other fuels, it is much harder to put the fire out. Plus how quickly these things probably burn, being so small and light. I see here what I didn't see in the bottom of that car, but I believe what is here is a limited production number, 02245. And then here you have 02250. So now am I going to go out and look for Lewis Hamilton's and Max Verstappen's car? If they're identical, probably not. Plus, I don't know how many teams there are in F1. I believe the car's 18 fields. That would be 9 teams. And then just for 1 year, you can imagine every year they're changing or adding more, taking out some teams. So this it's for the hobby, the collector. Like I said, it's a die-cast body with some plastic parts on the inside there. Very basic details in terms of layout for the car. Once again, we have the 3-piece body, or should I say unit. We have here the two there. We can see the cut in the middle where they are joined together. This whole thing is connected to this thing, the fin there, what I call the hammerhead shark front, and then the front base of the car over there. It's a very nice looking car. You won't be disappointed in terms of graphics. Like I said, they're not dirt cheap, but they are relatively cheap. And number 77 looks to be almost exactly the same as number 11's car. And you can just see there, pretty much everything is even. This is done in matte. Oh, look at that. I just saw this now. Walmart apparently is on the body wings of this car. So there you go. Like I said, a sponsor's dream. You have so many app companies, electronic. Red Bull obviously became huge, enough to put Honda as the secondary sponsor, while Mercedes is sticking to the more old school car-based manufacturing. Well, Tommy Hilfiger's on there as well. But you can just see the difference in terms of coloration of the cars. Mercedes overtaking everybody else. Or sorry, I apologize, AMG, which is a division of Mercedes, the performance aspect of it. And just look at that. It does look nice, don't get me wrong. This car has that shiny element to it. This part here is gritty. So it feels like running boards on a car, where if they're wet or covered in snow, you still have to be able to have traction on them. This one looks to be exactly the same. So what they've done here is they've just standardized, like I believe F1 has done it as well. They've just standardized the cars. However, we do see some little indents here, and these are not present on the Red Bull car whatsoever. You can see there it's all smooth. So there are, I guess, minor variations to the cars themselves. I would have to buy another 2 or 3 of these. I don't have to. I want to see if they're absolutely different, but you can see there's just minor differences between the two cars. That happens to be one of the more visible aspects that are different. Everything else, a few other things here. We have this here, which is not present in the Mercedes car. You can see it's nice and flat. So there's, I guess, and you can clearly see what I'm talking about right there, right? So it's just also the front suspension cover. This thing here is done very differently. Obviously, the Oracle / Red Bull car is done with the skeletal structure type and air inlet type. Well, the Mercedes car is the shiny, and it looks to be, it's not quite as skeletal, but it's all a little bit different. I mean, the same structure appears to be the same. Other than that, they look to be almost identical in terms of manufacture, which must be great for Maisto. I mean, you don't want to have too many. This whole thing here itself is different. You can see how my finger shows through underneath here. The Mercedes ones, the wheel suspension units are quite solid. See, right there? I don't have to take 25 minutes to compare the two, but you can just see what I'm talking about there. The little gap for the wheels, you can see the rod they use in the Red Bull team, you cannot see in the Mercedes. So there are a few differences. I want to call them the footwells here are bigger on the Red Bull car, and they're very much smaller on the other one. General shape is almost identical. The screw holes, except for this here, has 2 screw holes on the side body, so we see there and there. These things are moved and much larger, moved down. Mercedes cars like that. There's 2 indents here that are absent there, little minor stuff. But you can see the front underside of this middle wing is also a little bit different. The wing here has this little counterbalance on the back of the Mercedes car. It is completely absent in the Red Bull car, but the underside of the wings are almost the same. This has 2 pieces, this only has 1. So I guess there are enough variations. You're not buying exactly the same car. They just look really similar. And of course, you want to give teams some sort of freedom to say, okay, we can do this better or this worse, but then you don't want it to be an out of control budget. So I do apologize. This video ran out of control because I just ended up comparing the 2 cars themselves. They do roll. And I believe the Red Bull rolls just as well as the Mercedes. Yeah, almost exactly the same, in fact. Well, the Red Bull went a little bit farther there. So I apologize for this long video, but like I said, this is the first Buragos I've done, and they are not my usual. I rarely do these F1 cars. I've done lots of race cars, Le Mans, but no F1s. I've even done Luke Skywalker Speeder, but no F1 cars. I've done a couple of NASCARs and other things like that, but thank you for sticking with me through this video. Like I said, the Red Bull RB16B team car for number 11, Sergio Perez's Honda. It's Thomas from Toronto. Thanks for watching, and to the next one.